Okay, then welcome back. My name is Calcin from Calcin Company, and we're doing a SolidWorks for a kingpin caster. This is basically a caster wheel with a lazy Susan on top that's movable with a bearing. So now we're just showing you about some of the areas about this. So since you learn about SolidWorks and you know how to make a parts, now this is where you get to the point of this area. So on these blueprints, in your mind, you think that you can actually put these items into the one SolidWorks. It doesn't even work that way because it... Okay, so let me break this down. So if you're thinking about putting this part into a one SolidWorks in one piece, what's going to happen? It's going, once you save it as an STL file, and in the STL file or whatever type of files you want to save, it will follow that entire assembly, which is, for example, on the image on the left, it will copy the entire image of the caster wheel. You don't want that, because once you do that, you will have errors on certain files you have. For example, if we're doing 3D printing, it will 3D print it, yes, but you're only printing the entire piece. It's not gonna move, it's not gonna be moving parts, it's just a product there. Like for me, holding a marker that has nothing else to do, or a drill bit that has nothing else. It has to be a physical object. Like any objects of the certain items, like for example, a block, cylinder, so that's like a part. That's only a single part. The goal is to actually make the part move, make it more like assembly, tight fit together, has to be movable all the way, but you have to do this in a separate SolidWorks. So that's the idea of how SolidWorks work. For example, right now we're doing a caster wheel. We did the wheel first. Right now we're doing the fork yoke. So that's the one we're making right now, is the fork. We're just assembling the part as is, that's it. So, but we're not putting them into one file as you see along the way on the SolidWorks. We're just making the part, that's it. Right now I'm just doing by my eyes. I see the pictures of it, so I'm just guessing the dimensions going from here and there. Don't worry about the errors going from there. Just skipping the videos here. But the idea is that how do you make your parts individual? So for example, if I was gonna make a nose plier, you notice that the nose plier has two movable parts. One that moves on your right, the one that moves to your left. And you notice that it will move the nose at the front to open its mouth. Now the goal is to actually make them two separate parts, and it has to be movable as it is. And for example, another one could be a battery. So if you have a battery case with a batteries, the goal is to actually make it assembled, or make it separate. So for example, you will build a battery case, that's it. You'll have enough, make sure you do your measurement correctly under GD&T, which is general dimensions and tolerance. But you do not put the battery inside, because it will fill the entire thing inside the part once you 3D print it. So you empty out the cavity, you measure the battery, what's the dimension for that one, and then you do the assembly. So that way you'll do the test assembly process. That way you'll know that the battery will fit inside and it'll be snug inside. Another example will be the let's see. Oh, a wrench and a nut. So on a wrench, you have movable parts, which is the top one. You move to the left, you move to the right. That's the movable parts. But inside there, we'll discuss that later on in the future. However, there's another one on the outside, which is the bolt. You choose the size of that one, then you fit it together, now you have the part on the tools functioning. But again, you have to be careful because of the general dimensions and tolerances. That's when you learn a little more further along the way. You learn along the way because you need to understand how things work on all materials. Like for example, how you assemble a laptop, how do you assemble your phone, how do you assemble a mouse, how do you assemble the pencil, because the pencil has two things, one's a wood and one's a graphite. And also the eraser and the holder, where the holder connects to the pencil and how it holds the pen or hold the eraser. So that's the idea. For any type of computer aided drafting, there's multiple files you have to create, and you have to separate them. For example, if I was going to create 2 gears, I want to move on the SolidWorks, you have to do is one small gear on a separate file, another gear on a separate file, and that way you'll make another file or another assembly file. Use that one, and that will create your assembly. So right now I'm on the image right now. You see right now making the fork yoke. I made the plate. I made the wheel, and I think I made the pins along the way in the video. I think I showed you guys that one. If not, the pins should be no big deal. It's just like if you have a bolt and nut, same thing too as well. Same thing with that one too as well. Bolt and nut. So the bolt has the grooves, which is the threads. Then you have the hex. That's the part. Then you have the nut that has the same shape for the bolt, but honestly, with the same threads too as well. So 2 of them, 2 same size. That way it'll have the same dimensions. However, you cannot put them together in the one SolidWorks, because if you do that, if you 3D print it, it's not gonna come out as it should have been. It won't be moving. It's gonna be a tight fixture. But if you do that in the assembly process, that one you can actually do it by separating it together. That way you'll have 2 parts and you'll save it. So this is the reason you have to do multiple files on your SolidWorks or any type of CAD draftings or any computer drafting softwares. Because again, it's not always one assembly in the SolidWorks. It doesn't work that way. You have to do it by separate. There are some videos. I noticed that there's some videos I can give it a shot, or I can continue doing these videos. But again, that'll be a different one on the different website. As a lot more different one. But right now, I'm just showing you guys this one right here, the assembly process, how it functions, and how it does it work. So this is a lot more on our video, but right now I shrink it down to a smaller one because I speed up the videos. This is 4 times speed. But the goal for this video is to actually show you how it works on the assembly. So this one, I did another file for assembly, and I put 2 parts. One's the fork yoke and one's the wheel. You have to mate it to see how it functions, how it looks like. And after I had to fix some few areas because again, I'm just eyeballing it. So and this is the reason why I had to make the video 4 times faster, because again, I don't want to waste that time. But again, the goal for the video is just to understand how to use the SolidWorks with the assembly process. So for example, where we're doing the caster wheel, it has a whole bunch of different parts. We made a wheel, we made a fork, we made a top plate. And also do with the bearings as well. We made that one too as well. So but that's it. That's the goal of this video right now, to actually show you how you actually do it. So again, just do it separate parts separately. Name it. You have the wheel, the fork, and the top plate, and the bearings. That's all you have to do. Because again, if you try to do it in one SolidWorks, that doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. Unless you do it on the assembly process, yeah, that does work. But you have to do, if you're doing parts on the SolidWorks, you have to do it separate just separate files, because that way it'll work that way. Because that way you get the parts functioning along the way. And after that, this is a demonstration of how you do the bearings, so you guys are okay. So. But yeah, that's it. My response right here for this video. Alright, that's it. Okay, this next video is about assembling your 3D printed parts. So I have not gotten to the point of how you do the 3D printed parts on your slicer software. So each slicer software will vary differently. You have to check out your settings, make sure you check everything else. Now that you learned a lot on the SolidWorks. So this is the step of how you 3D print your parts. So if you're doing the parts on a large bed, you can add more STL files. For example, just right here with the wheel with the Lazy Susan. So sorry about that, I forget the name of it. However, yeah, you can add in more multiple items, but be aware of certain printers that can go wrong. Right now we're using the MicroBot. We're using the older Replicator Plus. However, this one will have failures along the way. So just give you a heads up. Make sure you modify it. Make sure everything's good to go. Make sure you create rafts, and make sure you put your part as upward as possible, and make sure it's easy for the printer to print it right away. I noticed I thought I messed up on one of the yoke fork, but did okay. So just give you guys a heads up on that one. Make sure you assemble it very carefully. Make sure you understand the settings. Make sure you modify it, change it. Make sure it comes out very well, and hopefully it comes out great. So just give you a heads up on that one. Until next time.